Episode of World Today in the new year of 2025. Now, we did begin the year with a few terror attacks, as also some disturbing news coming from China. After the coronavirus, that's the COVID-19, another virus, HMPV or human metapneumovirus, has been reported in China. Social media posts claim hospitals and cemeteries are overwhelmed with virus patients. As speculations grow around its symptoms and prevention, here's a report explaining everything about this virus spreading in China.
These are in pictures from the COVID-19 pandemic that broke out 5 years ago. Recent pictures from China that has surfaced on social media has sparked up big concerns about a possible spread of yet another infection. Overpacked hospitals and crematoriums overflowing is what various handles of social media indicate, but not the World Health Organization, neither China, has verified any of these claims. It is being suggested that mysterious Metapneumovirus is making hundreds of people sick. China is indeed seeing a rise in respiratory infections. This is being attributed to the catch-up period with lockdowns opening up, exposure for pathogens and the winter season.
HMPV virus. This is a virus which is currently spreading in the northern provinces of China. It spreads by person-to-person contact and it also spreads if you get in touch with an infected person or you touch surfaces which are infected with the secretions like doorknobs, or if you shake hands, or if you touch surfaces which are infected with the virus.
The fact is that in any influenza, in any viral infection, the vulnerable will continue to be the senior citizens, the comorbid and children. This again is no different. But questions remain on why and how, and if at all China once again is covering up the facts. Whatever it is, it brings back a horrible sense of deja vu, given that around this time of the year is when the COVID-19 pandemic had raised its ugly head from Wuhan in China.
Now, New Year's Day celebrations in New Orleans of the United States of America turned into a nightmare when a terror attack claimed at least 15 lives. The FBI has now revealed chilling details about the attacker, Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old Army veteran from Texas. Here's a detailed account of the unfolding tragedy and its aftermath.
As New Orleans mourns its dead, the investigation deepens. The FBI has now revealed chilling details about the attacker, Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old Army veteran from Texas. Revelation: attacker Jabbar was an ISIS supporter. The probe has thrown light on Jabbar's radicalization, his connection to ISIS and the deadly series of events. Revelation: attacker placed 2 IEDs at 2 locations. Revelation: Jabbar had remote IED detonator. The FBI revealed that hours before the attack, Jabbar planted remotely operated explosives at nearby locations. While these bombs were never detonated, their presence amplified the panic. Revelation: Jabbar posted videos supporting ISIS.
They've established that the attacker was the same person who planted the explosives in those ice coolers in 2 nearby locations in the French Quarter just a few hours before he rammed into the crowd with his vehicle.
Jabbar's social media activity showed clear ISIS sympathies, with videos pledging allegiance to the terror group and expressing intent to kill. Investigators believe Jabbar had joined ISIS last summer. He also believed in a war between believers and non-believers. Jabbar kept a bomb-making workbench in his ramshackle Texas trailer home, where a Quran was left open to chilling passage.
If we walk through the home, we see some signs of what he was up to. He had this work area here, lots of different chemicals splayed around, his collection of religious materials, his Qurans, an open Quran with a passage there, as well as even the Bible here, but mostly books on Islam.
Shamsuddin Jabbar, a former US Army veteran who served in Afghanistan, unleashed terror on January 1st in New Orleans. Jabbar opened fire on fleeing revelers. The horrifying incident ended after a shootout with police in which Jabbar was killed. Yet the damage was done. 15 lives lost, 30 injured, and countless questions left unanswered. President-elect Donald Trump slammed President Joe Biden's immigration policies, blaming them for enabling radical Islamic terrorism. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden confirmed that the FBI said there appeared to be no link between the attack in New Orleans and the incident in Las Vegas.
We're also continuing to investigate whether or not there's any connection between the New Orleans attack and the explosion in Las Vegas. As of now, they've just been briefed. They have not found any evidence of such a connection thus far.
Is the United States facing a surge in extremist threats? Bureau Report, India Today.
As revelers across the world ushered in the year 2025, the US yet again witnessed a terror attack. A veteran, inspired by the Islamic State, rammed his truck into a crowd in New Orleans. An ISIS flag was also found in his truck by the FBI. Vehicle ramming is a most frequent tactic used by individuals radicalized by jihadi and extremist forces. Here's my colleague Mahashweta Lala with this report.
At least 15 people were killed and 30 injured when a truck plowed into New Orleans' crowded French Quarter on New Year's Day. The truck, which bore an ISIS flag, was driven by a US veteran. In another incident, a Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas.
First and foremost, let me be very clear about this point. This was an act of terrorism. It was premeditated and an evil act. But at this point, currently, and this is another fact I want to be clear on, we do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack is involved in this attack except for Shamsuddin Jabbar, the subject you've already been briefed on.
Though investigation has revealed an ISIS link in the New Orleans case, no overt connection with ISIS in the explosion outside the Trump Hotel has been established. Both cases are being probed by the FBI.
At this point, there is no definitive link between the attack here in New Orleans and the one in Las Vegas. And again, as I close, I'll preface everything with what I started with in the beginning, which was this is very early in an investigation like this. What I can tell you right now is that he was 100% inspired by ISIS. And so we're digging through more of the social media, more interviews, working with some of our other partners to ascertain just how, to ascertain a little bit more about that connection.
Meanwhile, law enforcement officials named a U.S. Army soldier from Colorado as the likely person inside the Tesla Cybertruck. Authorities believe Matthew Livelsberger, a 37-year-old active duty Army soldier from Colorado Springs, was inside the vehicle when it exploded, and that he acted alone. The body was burnt beyond recognition. Investigators were awaiting confirmation from DNA evidence and medical records. What's intriguing is the modus operandi. Rented cars and trucks used to carry out such terror operations. In both incidents, the Cybertruck and truck were rented from Turo. The vehicle used to ram into crowds has been frequently used by extremists and radicalized individuals to spread terror. According to the Department of Homeland Security, vehicle ramming offers terrorists with limited access to explosives or weapons an opportunity to conduct a homeland attack with minimal prior training or experience. In 2017, at least 8 people were dead when a man drove a pickup truck into a crowded bike path along the Hudson River in Manhattan. According to the authorities, notes found near the scene indicated an ISIS link. But this ramming tactic by terrorists are not concentrated to the United States. On December 20, 2024, a car had plowed into a busy outdoor Christmas market in the eastern German city of Magdeburg. In 2016, at least 84 people died after a lorry slammed through a crowd celebrating Bastille Day in the southern French city of Nice. Lone wolf attacks and the ramming attacks attributed to radicalized individuals show the growing influence of ISIS and the spread of the terror web. With Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
Behind devastating headlines of global terrorism lies a group that continues to shape violent landscapes from America to Russia to many parts of the world. The Islamic State, once a feared empire in West Asia, remains an elusive but deadly force. This isn't just a matter of extremist ideologies. It's a global network of militants and terror cells that has adapted and expanded, fueling attacks across continents. As the world fights to suppress its influence, a few questions loom. Is the United States of America losing its war against terrorism? Can the West cut off the Islamic State's operations without triggering more violence and chaos around the world? Here is a report.
The deadly attacks on the United States on New Year's Eve are a grim reminder for the world and, more importantly, for Washington. It shows America's war on terror is far from over. It reveals the Islamist extremist ideology never really went away, but has been slowly influencing and hiring freelance workers from around the globe. US agencies' worst fears have come true. FBI has declared that the suspect Shamsuddin Jabbar had pledged his solidarity to the terrorist group Islamic State, and he had no other accomplice. A day before the attack, Jabbar gave his social media followers a glimpse of his violent plan and radical thinking. Imagine Jabbar served in the US Army on active duty from 2006 to 2015, and then in the Army Reserve from 2015 to 2020. He had also worked in real estate sector and had graduated from Georgia State University in 2017, earning a degree in computer information systems. What's scary is that he was 42 years old, so not really the kind of prototype for an individual to be radicalized. This means the threat could be anywhere. President Joe Biden has vowed that terror groups like ISIS would find no safe haven in the United States. But the attack, which claimed the lives of around 15 people, has done more damage than one can imagine. It has reignited a sense of fear the Americans once felt after 9/11. Only the threat posed is bigger now, as terror is now being outsourced. ISIS may not control territory like before, but the group's decentralized cells continue to remain active. In the last few years, from Europe to West Asia, the terror group has been linked to several deadly assaults. In fact, New Orleans attack marks the 6th significant international attack or attempt by ISIS in a year, after Iran, Turkey, Russia, Austria, and the foiled plot in Oklahoma City on Election Day. The deadly truck attack is just another example of ISIS's increasing reach. From a declared caliphate controlling sizable cities once, the group has now transformed into a loosely linked network. And there are fears that Islamic State could grow its roots deeper after the fall of Assad's regime in Syria. There are also concerns that the group could now resort to more low-tech attacks or lone wolf attacks, including stabbings, shootings, and driving vehicles into crowds, which are hard to detect and stop. Further, the group has been keeping pace with the emerging technologies and trends, which has helped it to continue its reign of terror. It has been calling on sympathizers to carry out do-it-yourself attacks. These type of incidents are challenging for authorities to prevent. These attacks are often inspired by ISIS's propaganda circulating widely on social media platforms, including TikTok and Telegram. The group has sophisticated online presence in multiple languages, including English. through which it continues to radicalize people around the globe. In the disguise of influencers, the ISIS fighters often glorify jihad on social media platforms. But ISIS's influence is not just limited to the online platforms. Another concern is ISIS-K, an affiliate group in Afghanistan. ISIS-K has grown stronger since the US withdrawal from the country in 2021. The US has made it clear they will not let ISIS re-establish itself. The Central Command continues to target ISIS militants in Syria, and US agencies continue to target people inside the country. But as ISIS adapts and thrives in the shadows, it's clear that defeating the terror group would require constant vigilance and international cooperation. Their reach is global, and their methods continue to evolve, making them a persistent threat to the world.
Now, news from Bangladesh. The Hindu monk in Bangladesh, Chinmoy Krishna Das's bail plea has once again been rejected by the Chattogram court. The Hindu monk has to once again go back to jail, where he has been put for more than 40 days. Now, his bail plea will be appealed in the High Court. Here is a report.
A court in southeastern Bangladesh's Chittagong rejected the bail plea of the Hindu monk and former ISKCON leader Chinmoy Krishna Das, who was arrested for sedition charges in October 2024.
The Honourable Court has conducted the hearing of the case and, being satisfied, has rejected our plea. Subsequently, we will file a bail petition in the High Court in accordance with the law. We hope that in this new year, the government of Bangladesh will be successful in stopping attacks on minorities and all the prisoners will be released.
Krishna Das is facing sedition charges for allegedly desecrating the national flag of Bangladesh. The charges were linked to the hoisting of a saffron flag above Bangladesh's national flag during last year October 25 rally in Chittagong, hosted by Chinmoy Das, against the violence on Hindus in Bangladesh. Meanwhile, Muslim lawyers raised Allahu Akbar slogans inside the Chittagong court against those involved in the murder of Advocate Alif, who died in clashes during Chinmoy Das's last appearance in court. There have been a series of attacks on Hindu community members and their places of worship after Bangladesh interim government led by Nobel Peace Laureate Muhammad Yunus came to power. The former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina fled the country following mass protests across the nation. On December 31st, 2024, thousands of protesters gathered in Dhaka demanding capital punishment for Sheikh Hasina for alleged crimes against humanity during her tenure. With Neha Kumari, Bureau Report, India Today.
Hollywood's high-profile showdown continues to escalate after actress Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against her co-actor and director Justin Baldoni, accusing him of sexual harassment and a smear campaign to tarnish her reputation. Baldoni has now responded with a counterclaim, denying the allegations and further accusing Lively of launching a calculated attack on his career. Here is the whole story.
Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni. Allegations, counter allegations. Hollywood's high-profile showdown continues. After actor Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against her co-star and director Justin Baldoni, alleging him of sexual harassment and a smear campaign to damage her reputation, the latter, who denied these accusations, has now counterclaimed Lively launched a calculated attack on his career. Yes, Baldoni denies all allegations of sexual harassment and misconduct, calling them false and defamatory. Friedman argues that Lively's claims are part of a vicious smear campaign orchestrated by Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds to destroy Baldoni's reputation. Friedman says they have evidence to refute her claims. Among Baldoni's most shocking allegations is the claim that Lively's PR team planted negative stories about him, including accusations of HR complaints during production. Baldoni also alleges that Lively threatened to withhold her involvement in promoting the film unless she was given creative control over the final cut. In addition, Baldoni also filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit against an international media publication. He accused the organization for publishing an article that he claims cherry-picked text messages and emails to support Lively's narrative while omitting evidence that could exonerate him. It was 4 months after the release of their film, It Ends With Us, that Blake Lively decided to file a lawsuit against her co-star and director Justin Baldoni, making shocking allegations of misconduct during the production of the film.
The first official customer?
Well, you'd have to buy something to be considered a customer. Right now, you're just loitering.
She had claimed Baldoni showed her explicit videos, discussed his pornography addiction, and made inappropriate comments about her weight and family. She also alleged unwanted physical contact, including improvising unconsented kissing scenes. This legal battle drew significant public support for Lively. In fact, Colin Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, the novel the film is adapted from, also took to social media to praise Lively's courage and honesty, expressing solidarity with the actress. The fallout further took an ugly turn for Baldoni, who was also dropped by his talent agency WME as a client amid the controversy. For the Unverse, the initiation of this conflict was evident during the promotions of the film in July and August 2024, wherein the entire cast was seen sidelining Baldoni. And now, it only seems far from over. With Bhavna Agarwal, Entertainment Bureau, India Today.